Today's episode of the CLS Experience will be a very enlightened treat. By 15, he had already achieved what many dream of, becoming a self-made millionaire through his ventures in the investment world and medical field. Yet it was the roller coaster of financial highs and lows that led him to a profound realization. True abundance and fulfillment are not about external wealth, but about the richness of one's inner life, cultivated through dedicated spiritual practices. Big facts. As one of the leading Kabbalah teachers in the world and host of the top spirituality podcast, Weekly Energy Boost, and a full-time volunteer, his teachings on self-transformation and global change have inspired countless individuals to explore the depths of their own potential and the power of spiritual connection. His commitment to revealing light has not only changed lives, but has also fostered a global community bound by love, understanding, and a quest for spiritual growth. Let's go deeper. He's just a juggernaut in all facets of life and a terrific father and human. Please welcome the articulate, transformative, abundant, and handsome, the connected David Ghiyam. How you doing, David?
Thank you, Craig. That was very nice of you. It's a very generous intro. I don't think I've had intros like that before. So thank you.
Good. I appreciate that. I received that. I'm happy I did good by you. We were having an awesome conversation before we hit record. For our listeners, in case you're not familiar, my best suggestion is to do a deep dive, play catch up, check out all the unbelievable stuff David has going on. What I think is most valuable today is we just have an unbelievable conversation. Today's conversation is really special for me. Our listeners know, probably over the last year or so, I've really gone deep with Kabbalah and so forth, and it's really just enhanced my life and opened so many things up for me. And we've talked about it here and there, but we never really had someone specifically from the Kabbalah world on the show. So I'd love to just start right there. For the novice listening right now that has heard me talk about it, or they've seen maybe some of your posts, or whatever the case may be, and they're saying, what is Kabbalah? How would you unpack that?
That's a good question. Thank you, Craig. First thing I'll say is, really appreciate you having me on the show. And, one of the things that we are talking about right before is, who are your listeners? What is it that their soul wants to hear and connect with? Because there's so many ways we can go with this. And if we just start with what Kabbalah is universal spiritual wisdom for every soul in this world that explains the technology of the soul, why we're here, and how to connect to the highest level of fulfillment. When I look at like the demographic of even my followers on social media, it's funny because I didn't have any social media just 5 months ago. I was just teaching this wisdom in person, traveling all around the world. But when I started and the content got out there in mass, I saw that even my demographic is virtually every religion. If it's Hindu, Islam, Christian, Catholic, Jewish, atheists, people who don't even believe in a creator or a higher power or universal energy. I get hundreds of messages a day saying that Kabbalah has transformed their lives. Kabbalah has given them an understanding of why they are here. Kabbalah has actually made them better understand their religion's path, because Kabbalah enhances whatever you already believe in, whatever path you were raised in. And so that is kind of like the high level view of what Kabbalah is. And Kabbalah just explains that our soul came to this world as a vessel to receive what's called the light of the creator, which is this universal positive force of fulfillment. This energy is available for everyone to access. And the only reason we feel darkness and pain in our lives is because of a disconnection to this energy. It's not that we're being punished. It's not that we're not deserving of this energy. It's very much like the electricity that's in the socket. If I want to power up my laptop, I just plug into the electricity. The energy is there. It's waiting for me. If I stick my finger in the socket and I get electrocuted, no one would ever say that the electricity punished me. It was just, I didn't know how to connect to the energy that is already there. And so for everyone listening, you need to know that whether it's wealth, soulmate connection, love, health, your purpose in this world, meaning, certainty, overcoming anxiety, we all have some kind of pain in our lives that we're trying to overcome. The way you overcome it, Kabbalistically, is first connect your soul to the light of the creator. Then this connection will manifest as a solution here in the lower worlds. But this is kind of the crux of the wisdom and the
Unbelievable.
purpose of why we came to this world.
Yeah, first of all, I know I'm not the first to tell you how beautifully you articulate stuff. You make it what could be complex ideas very digestible. So I'm not
Thank you.
surprised to hear your audience and your community and the following that you've accumulated pretty fast. It's awesome. You
Thank
mentioned
you.
there connecting and your soul to the creator and so forth. What is something tangible that somebody listening right now is like, oh, this sounds good. What can I do to create a better connection or a bigger connection?
Great question. So, one of the main, I started studying Kabbalah when I was 15. I'm 40 now, so it was 25 years ago. And when I was 19, I graduated from UCLA, and I decided instead of going to what was then going to be business school and kind of go into a career similar to you, go into finance, I saw how fulfilling it was to not just learn the wisdom, but to help others with it. So I started on that path. I started traveling around the world teaching Kabbalah, but the main thing that I was teaching was this course, and I did it all for charity. So all the work I do, I don't monetize my platform. All of it's for charity. And the main course I was teaching was called Kabbalah One. And what Kabbalah One teaches is that the way you access the light of the creator is you become like the light of the creator. So Kabbalah teaches us what are the qualities and traits of this force that is called the creator. And then we go deeper to emulate this force and we kind of break it down. So I'll tell you the first thing that we learn. Our soul came to this world with what's called a correction that the soul needs to make, some kind of negativity that it needs to transform. This can be layers and layers of fears and trauma that actually the soul is bringing from a prior lifetime. So, for example, if my soul came to this world with a fear of abandonment that I need to transform, my soul will actually choose the parents that are most conducive to awaken my fear of abandonment so that I can transform it. A lot of people think that when you're born and then all of a sudden all these fears come up, it's because the parents caused that or your environment caused that. And while that could be true, you didn't pick parents who were emotionally unavailable or got divorced. Um, and then because they got divorced, they caused you to have a fear of abandonment. It's the other way around. Because your soul came to this world with a fear of abandonment, you decided to choose parents who would get divorced or who would be emotionally unavailable. Well, why would your soul choose that? Because the soul just wants one thing to bring up to the surface the toxicity, the spiritual toxicity that is surrounding it so that it can confront it, face it, and transform it. So maybe in high school, somebody betrayed you or, you felt hurt or left by someone or college, something happened, or you're going through a relationship now that's very challenging. Your soul chose all of these relationships because it was the perfect relationship to bring out the negativity that your soul has carried for lifetimes. Okay. So now what do we do with that? And Kabbalah basically says instead of blaming the other person or trying to be defensive or escaping towards instant gratification and self soothing the pain, what we want to do is get excited about the fact that now I can see the negativity. If my husband or wife is constantly challenging me and showing me my anger, my frustration, my control issues, my neediness, my avoidant mentality, that's not for us now to attack them and say, hey, stop doing that. That's actually a blessing that the creator has sent us to go deep down inside and transform who we are. A good example of that would be when you go to the dentist, is when your teeth are hurting. And the dentist is like poking around in your mouth and then all of a sudden touches the tooth with the cavity. You would never look at the dentist and be like, excuse me, like don't touch that tooth. It hurts. You would never say to the dentist, hey, I got so many other amazing teeth. Focus on those teeth. Why do you got to focus on the one tooth that is painful? Right? You would never say that to the dentist. You wouldn't say, you know what, dentist, I'm going to another dentist who's going to see the good of my mouth instead of you just focusing on the bad. But we do that in our relationships, right? The relationship's job in many ways, the primary spiritual job, is that it will unearth the part of your soul that needs to be transformed to access the light of the creator. It's a blessing. So the first thing we learn in Kabbalah 1, is when a challenge occurs, pause. Do not react. When fear or lack come up, this is a good sign. When doubts come to you, this is the good sign. When you have anxiety, this is a very good sign. It means that finally you are having the opportunity to transform that negativity, become like the creator, and then access the world of miracles. In fact, right before your soulmate's going to come into your life, right before wealth or prosperity is about to come, right before your purpose, and you can attest to this, Greg, right before you're about to find out your next level, your purpose, all of these challenges will come to squeeze out of you every vibration that is not of the light of the creator, that you've carried from lifetimes and even this lifetime. We should get excited about that. We should embrace that. And the Kabbalists say you pause, you say, what a pleasure. What a pleasure that now I get to experience these doubts, this confusion, this lack of clarity. It's actually training yourself to get excited about the darkness. And that is the first step of many steps, the first step of becoming like God, becoming like the creator, and then accessing the world of miracles.
With no friction, there could be no light. And this is such an unbelievable reframe for people that aren't so familiar yet, Mala. Now all of a sudden you're looking for obstacles, challenges, anxiety, because it's an opportunity to be proactive and correct it, which reveals more light or creates a transformation, right? Expansion.
That's 100% right. You basically said the magic word. There's two types of behavior, reactive and proactive. Reactive behavior, by definition, is any thought, word, or action which comes from lack or fear in order to self-soothe and connect to instant gratification. So I'll say that again. Any thought, word, or action which comes from lack or fear in order to connect to instant gratification. When we are reactive, we are disconnecting from the world of miracles. It doesn't matter if we're right or wrong, justified or not. For example, you get an email that you don't like, that's embarrassing you in front of maybe your colleagues. Or all of a sudden, this person that you broke up with, your ex, starts dating someone new, and you start to feel lack and fear. What do you do? Well, let's start with a dating example. Let's say you broke up with someone it was a toxic relationship, and you've moved on and you're happy about it. And then a couple of weeks later, a thought comes to you. I'm going to snoop around their social media, see what's going on. What is this thought? Where did this come from? This lack that you feel that you want to snoop or spy, this is actually a test to elevate your consciousness to the world of miracles. But what do? We start snooping, right? We start going because we want instant gratification. We want to know, what are they doing? What are they not doing? And then all of a sudden, let's take this deeper. All of a sudden, you see your ex with another woman, and he looks so happy, even though you didn't want to be with him. You now see he's with someone else or she's with someone else, and they're so happy. So you take it further. You decide to actually manipulate or control the situation. So you take out your phone and you want to text them. Again, more lack is coming up, and you're trying to fill the lack. This is reactive behavior. What should you do instead? You pause. Pause right in front of your computer and say, what a pleasure. What a pleasure that I get to see my insecurity. I want to transform this insecurity so I can become like God. Don't look at the Instagram. Don't text them. Let go completely. And there's tools we give to let go, but this is a pivotal moment in your life to either shift to the world of miracles or go down the old pattern of chaos and reactive behavior.
This is so good. It's funny because most people don't understand how this is so pivotal. If you just don't react anytime that you get flustered, what you'll notice is the seas will begin to part. They'll calm down a little bit. And then your next level of expansion is available. But it's funny, and I speak from contrast, I'm still working through this, how challenging that is, even though the way you describe it seems so simple.
Oh my gosh. It's the test will always be at your level, right, Craig? Like no matter where you're at, you're going to get tested in order to reveal your unique light. Like a good simple example I'm sure people can relate to is, I'll be on my way driving to teach a seminar. I'm going to do a positive thing, right? Teaching spiritual wisdom. And so many times I'll be driving to just get there on time, and I'll have somebody just going really slow in front of me. I've had people go slow. I've had people just literally not move their car, like waiting at a light that's green. And all of a sudden, every part of your frustration and anger or your type A control issues start to come up. And then I have to remind myself, this is a test. Even though I got to get to where I got to get to, every part of me wants to honk really aggressively at this person. This is a test. The lack that I feel 20 minutes before my seminar is given to me by the universe to transform that lack so I can enter the world of miracles before my seminar. If you're going to an important business meeting or you have an important event coming up, 1 hour, 1 day, or 1 week prior, you will go through a challenge to elevate your consciousness so that you can bring the world of miracles to that event. That's what's amazing. I remember before the birth of my first child, challenges came up, totally unrelated to the birth. Like something would happen in business. You have your worst month ever right before the birth of your child. What's the correlation? The universe is sending you tests to clean out the garbage, to bring up reactive behavior, have you pause, get excited about it, and become like God. And then that light, that energy will come to the birth of your child and protect the child from while he's being born. That's the way it works. We are constantly tested, and it's good. It's not a bad thing.
System. And what we're encouraging everyone listening today is to actually get excited when you have these challenges, because what it really is an opportunity. You mentioned the word light there a few times. I wanted to ask you, when I think of the word light, so you know better than I do, but I think of abundance, tapping in all the good stuff. Do different people have different capacities of light, or does everybody have the same, but people that are a little bit more enlightened understand how to reveal more of their own?
Great question. The light of the creator is infinite. It is static. It is everywhere at all times. What determines how much light is revealed is the vessel. So for example, think of a light bulb. Think of a 60-watt bulb. The 60-watt bulb can only handle 60 watts of energy. If I plug that bulb into the power station and I put in 1,000,000 watts of energy into a 60-watt bulb, all that bulb can handle is 60 watts. In fact, anything over 60 will implode the bulb. In life, many people are 60-watt bulbs, but they desire and crave 1,000 watts of energy. So they're going out there looking for more energy when Kabbalah is teaching them, don't go look for more energy. The energy will come. Go look to expand your vessel from 60 watts to 1,000 watts. So many times I talk to men or women, and they're looking for their soulmate. I said, what are you looking for in a relationship? And they give me their checklist, right? That checklist, I would equate it to 1,000 watts of energy. And then I ask them, are you a 1,000-watt bulb? Because if you don't have this checklist yet, it means you are not it. So let's elevate your consciousness, your level of attraction in the 4 categories, right? There's 4 levels of attraction. There's spiritual, intellectual, physical, and emotional. So I would actually start to audit their lives and ask them, let's start even just with the physical. You're asking for someone who's in shape and you're not. Like, that's just an easy one. Like, let's work on that, right? You're looking for someone who has good hygiene, who takes care of themselves, but you're barely taking care of yourself. You're not eating right. You're not grooming yourself right. We need to work on that. Then we talk about spiritual attraction. Everybody wants a spiritual man or a spiritual woman, someone who believes in transformation, someone who's working on themselves and takes responsibility. So I would audit them. I would say, hey, are you taking responsibility in your life? Like, where are you pointing the finger? Where are you waiting for other people to change? And then you start to see that actually there's so much room to grow from that 60-watt bulb they are to the 1,000 watts they need to be. So everyone who's listening, I would tell you, let's get excited about transforming ourselves to expand our vessel. The miracles will be there. Your soulmate will be there. Prosperity will be there. Meaning will be there. Certainty will be there. Whatever fulfillment you're looking for, which is encapsulated in the light, it is already there. You don't need to go out there looking for it. You just need to transform ourselves to improve the capacity to receive that light that is already there.
So, follow-up question. In order to build a bigger vessel where we can receive more, we have to implement the stuff that you were just saying by constantly correcting and being proactive.
Yeah. So for example, the first one is a challenge occurs. Don't be reactive, become proactive, right? We have a whole formula for that. The first step of the formula is pause and get excited about it. And know the reason you're getting excited is because you know you're expanding your vessel now, cleaning your vessel, expanding it to receive the light. That's just one thing. The second thing is when challenges keep coming up over and over again, like you keep attracting the same people, you keep attracting the same challenges, you keep attracting the same difficult situation. It is not enough just to not be reactive. You have to ask the question, why do I keep attracting, for example, an emotionally unavailable person? Why do I keep attracting people who take advantage of me? Why do I keep attracting liars? Why do I keep attracting each one of us? If we actually look at our lives, we'll see a pattern of the type of people or scenarios we're attracting. So then we have to ask the question, why? Why is this in my movie? And then you extrapolate and you realize, hey, the reason I keep attracting emotionally unavailable or toxic people is because I myself am not clear about what I want. I do private coaching, not so much anymore, but especially in the time I used to do it, people would pay all this money to tell me, to ask me questions of how they could be successful. And within the first 10 minutes, I would say, well, what do you want? And they would talk for 10 minutes. And guess what? Craig, I'm sure you can relate to this. I had no clue what they wanted. They would just talk. I want this. They would go all over the place. And I would be like, hey, it's been 10 minutes. I'm not clear about what you want. And if I'm not clear about what you want, guess what? The creator is not clear. Guess what? The universe is not clear. So if you want to know why things are slow in your life, why things aren't manifesting, because you inside do not have a northern star. You are not clear. You think you're clear, but you're not. And so this could be the very correction that they need to make. So the reason they keep attracting partners who aren't clear about commitment is because they themselves are not clear about what they want, even though they think they are. So that's just an example. So that's a second lesson that we kind of learn on this path of Kabbalah. And I'll tell you a third one. There's so many, but I'll tell you a third popular one. The way to expand the vessel to receive the light, one of the best qualities of the light of the creator is the quality of certainty. Certainty is the most powerful consciousness you can have. Doubts would be the lowest vibration consciousness you can have. And if you think about it all day long, by default, we're not living with certainty. We're living with doubts, worries, and fears. Every time we're thinking about the future or worrying about the future or regretting the past, we're not living in the present moment. We're not living with certainty. So all day long, I'll say the mantra to myself, I have certainty in the light of the creator. I have certainty that I already have everything I want. I have certainty that everything's going to work out great. But my logic tells me it's not. My logic tells me, hey, the money is missing. My logic tells me, hey, the relationship is missing. My logic tells me, hey, you can get sick at any moment. Right? The logic starts to eat away. And that's why so many people in the world have anxiety today. So they reach for medication to overcome the anxiety, but that's just kicking the can down the road. When you feel the doubts coming, you got to say, this is really good. I'm excited that the doubts are coming, that the confusion is coming, because now I can transform it to certainty. I now have certainty in the light of the creator. I have certainty in the light of the creator. So this is something that we teach in our classes, to live with certainty and not doubts.
It's unbelievable. And the situation you just described, I spent a lot of time in there, if I'm being honest. Anxious about the future, depressed about the past, nowhere but the present. And when I reinvented myself, it was one of the things I did is accept the fact that I wasn't where I hoped I'd been. And doesn't mean I have to prove it, but focus my energy on right here and now and what I can do next. And that's when all of a sudden this stuff started happening. You often talk about manifesting, use the word there a couple of times. And I like when you say the way that you manifest is you leave the universe no excuse as to not bring it to fruition.
Are you quoting from my prosperity seminar?
I don't know. I saw it on your content, which by the way,
Okay, so it's probably a
everybody
snippet. I taught this concept in a 3-week seminar on how I built the brand Married with Organics and using Kabbalah. And I think one of the concepts, and I probably took a snippet of it and put it on my social media, was I give the universe no excuse to give it to me. That's right. That's right.
And just real quickly, everybody listening, I highly encourage you to all check out his unbelievable content immediately following this conversation. So in regards to that snippet, can you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah. So I teach this actually in Kabbalah too. I call it the manifestation formula or the miracle formula, where there's basically 4 quadrants of something you need to do to kind of manifest a miracle. And it's obviously much longer than what I'm going to give you now, but I'll kind of give you the headlines. The first bucket is maximizing your spiritual work. So let's say, for example, your goal here is you want to achieve, you want to find what your purpose is, or you want to find your soulmate. Let's maximize spiritual work. Well, what does that mean? So each one of us already knows at least one area of our lives that we need to transform. We may be working on it, we may be ignoring it totally, but it has become clear to us at some point the creator always sends messages on something we need to transform. I mean, you could have probably gotten the message just from hearing this podcast so far or listening to prior podcasts of yours, Greg. All of a sudden, someone will say something or say it to you, or you'll be inspired and you're like, wow, I need to transform that. This is the universe talking to you saying, this is the thing today the universe wants you to work on. When something becomes clear to you, that's a sign from the universe saying, hey, you need to work on this. And if you do, it's going to open you up to the thing you desire. The workshop I do in class all the time is I ask people, what is the one thing you want in your life? What pops into your mind? And then write it down. And so they write it down. And then I say, what is the one thing the universe has already told you you need to change? And then something comes to their mind, they write it down. And I say, those two are connected. The very thing you know you need to change is what's holding you back from that one other goal. And they could be 2 separate categories. It could be my goal is to make money, but the thing I need to change is stop being controlling in my marriage. What's the connection? That's how spirituality works. Person who has a healthy marriage can actually create more prosperity in a different part of their lives, for example, right? So that's the first bucket. And then we kind of go through how to maximize spiritual work. The second bucket is maximizing physical work. That means that if I'm trying to find a relationship or become wealthy, I can't just sit back and be spiritual. I can just sit back and my little, sit on my couch and just meditate on God all day long and just do spiritual work and not be angry and not be this. That doesn't work. I need to actually physically go out there and add value to the world. I need to build a business plan. I need to learn the right marketing. I need to make maximum effort, not wake up at 9 o'clock, take a Pilates class, drink a cappuccino and, figure and take a couple meetings throughout the day. Like there has to be a no stone left unturned mentality around manifesting something in the physical world. This is a whole different seminar I could teach, but when it comes to business, I like to learn everything about a category before I even touch it. Once I understand the whole picture, then I will, what I call suffocate the system. I will go all in from every angle to manifest the thing that I want until it comes to fruition. So that's that category. The third and fourth category has to do with certainty. So you could do all the right things, but if you have doubts, you're slowing down manifestation. I see people doing all the right things. They got the right product, the right marketing. They do everything right. They say everything right. They're following your blueprint. It's amazing. Why is it not working? Because you still have doubts. You're still not sure it's going to work. You're still looking over your shoulder, wondering when the creator is going to take care of you. Complete certainty. No room for doubts. That's the third bucket. And the fourth bucket is actually a concept called prayer. Prayer, people think prayer is religious. Prayer has a bad rap. Prayer is just me communicating to the universe, and as a result, expanding my vessel, my capacity to receive. We don't pray to bribe God. A lot of people think I pray to bribe God to convince him that he made a mistake and, hey, you got to fix this for me. Prayer is an outward expression that transforms my vessel, my capacity to receive the light. So, for example, if I'm trying to manifest something, like I'm trying to manifest, I don't know, filling a position in my company, something so simple as I need to hire a vice president for my company. Before I go to LinkedIn, before I go to HR, before I go to a recruiter, I pray. I'll walk down my street for like half hour and I'll talk out loud to the universe and I'll say, show me, guide me to the right soul that is right for my company. Show me what I need to change to attract the right soul. I mean, how many people do that when they're hiring somebody? You just put in the JD to the HR department and say, hey, hire someone, or you'll go ask friends, I'm looking for a so-and-so. I've learned it's got to start spiritually. I tell the universe, what do I need to change to attract the right employee? You know how toxic the wrong employee is?
Yes, they
It
do.
can destroy the whole business. So, in the same way you're going to look for the right wife or the right husband or the right relationship, employees are the same way. I will pray and talk out to the universe that I want to find the right soul to come before I would even entertain looking for them.
It's unbelievable. Everyone, I highly suggest you grab the journal, run this back. The third step that you mentioned there was total certainty and removing any doubt. That sounds great. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now saying, I want to be so certain, but I have trouble believing it. What is
Yeah,
something they could do to achieve a higher level of certainty?
uh, that's a great question. A couple things. Number one, I like to spend time with people who have certainty. One of the reasons why we have doubts is we're spending a lot of time with other people with doubts. When I spend time with powerful people, successful people, and not just monetarily successful, I spend time with people who are good athletes or good fathers. They have a lot of certainty in parenting, right? If you've ever been with someone who has many kids and a lot of experience, they have a lot of certainty with their children. Spend time with these people. I like to ask them, how do you have so much certainty? What gave you the certainty? You start to receive their vibration. Scientifically, because I know this being in the health and wellness world, the person you spend the most time with, you actually start to mimic their microbiome. Interesting. The same bacteria in your stomach starts to mimic the people you spend the most time with or the relationships you have. So if the microbiome starts to become similar, then no doubt that your consciousness will become similar. So look at the people around you. Are these people with certainty? Are these people who are desiring to grow, to transform, who are looking just to elevate their vibration? Or they have other kind of goals, which are good, but they're not as high as what we just said, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is fake it till you make it. I will fake certainty. I will pray for certainty. I will dance around the room pretending to have certainty. And then vibrationally, my logical mind and my body will follow. It's perfectly fine to fake something that you're trying to achieve in order to achieve it. So fake the happiness, fake the certainty. Keep telling yourself you have certainty. Give yourself a mantra about certainty. Listen to podcasts about certainty. Like go to Apple, type in certainty. I'm sure, Craig, you've had podcasts that are about certainty and motivation. Listen to content because vibrationally, the energy of certainty enters into your soul. So those are a couple tips. Not all the tips, but just a couple.
And we're maximizing the time here. And I heard you say, correct me if I'm wrong, certainty and a yearning combined makes you absolutely unstoppable.
Uh-huh. Think about the word yearning. When you yearn, you desire. And when you desire, you expand your vessel. Just by yearning, I can go from 60 watts to 100 watts to 1,000 watts. What's the difference between you and me and Elon Musk? We both have 24 hours in a day. We both probably had the same amount of education. What's the difference? His yearning is a million times greater than our yearning. And so as a result, he expands his vessel. As a result, he attracts the right engineers. As a result, he attracts the right investors. As a result, he attracts the right ideas, ideas that none of us have access to, but he draws them from the upper worlds because he yearns to know. The lower your yearning, the closer you are to death. This is what retirement is. As people get older, they yearn for less, so they don't have as much life. Who's more attractive? Someone who's 25 years old or someone who's 75 years old? Well, the great Kabbalists, when they reached 75, their yearning was greater than when they were 25. And this is why you want to be around very spiritual elders, because their energy is so powerful. But most people who get older, their desire decreases, not increases. Their yearning decreases. And so you don't feel energy around them anymore. We feel energy around the people who yearn the most. So it behooves each one of us to increase our yearning, increase our desire, and then we increase our capacity for the light.
That was so powerful. Because typically, people, when they have less yearning, that's when they totally out of alignment, lack purpose, fulfillment, and they're in a rut.
You're aging, you start to age faster, the less yearning you have.
Yeah.
Everything slows down.
This is unbelievable. I don't want to call it introductory, but we'll definitely bring you back for sequel. I think there's a lot of people saying the teeth, and I wanted to land the plane with this. One of the big words in Kabbalah that I know you talk about a lot and something I've studied a lot is the word desire. We've used that a little bit in the call, and it's funny because when I first started coaching high achievers and so forth in the beginning, like, you're grateful to do business, a lot of people want to work with you. But now it's like I'm qualifying them to make sure that they have that desire. Because if not the right fit, probably going to be a waste of time. You can't buy me at this point.
That's right. That's right.
The one thing I always wrestle with, and I wanted to ask you, can you teach desire, or do you have to have that in you?
That's a great question. Each person has a max potential desire they can reach that is right for their soul. But it's safe to say that 99% of us are very far from that desire. So I know that even where I'm at today, it's a fraction of what my soul is capable of. So how do you find what that is? I was awakened to that recently when I had the opportunity to meet someone. He's one of the most successful people in the world. I'm sure I can say his name, but suffice it to say, if I said it, you would know who he is. And I had the opportunity to meet him. And let me tell you something. After 1 hour with him, he made me feel so worthless. Not because he said anything. The way he talked to me, the questions he asked, he showed me that I was so satisfied with where I was in life, but that there was so much more I was ignoring because I was just enjoying my comfort. And he's like, you think what you're doing now is special? You should be. And then he kind of set the bar really high. And then I saw the delta from where he saw my soul to be versus where it was today. And I felt so much shame, like, wow, I'm thinking so small. And then I saw the benefit of why we want to spend time with people who have bigger desires than we do, because they're the ones who elevate us. Our comfort zone wants to spend time with people with smaller desires because we feel better than them. We feel more accomplished. We feel less pressure. Nobody wants to feel pressure. Right? If we brought the greatest coach to teach you tennis or teach you basketball or teach you boxing, that's why people have uncomfortable getting trainers at the gym, because I got my routine. I got my workout. Leave me alone. You know, I do my thing. I do my sauna, my spa, you know, I get a towel and I'm good. The trainer comes and shows you, wait, dude, you have this much more capacity. You're not even touching.
Pushes you.
Pushes you to boundaries you didn't know. Right. So this is why people are listening to you. This is why people come into your podcast, whether it's you or a guest. People, what is inspiration? When I am around someone with a greater desire, that's inspiration, because a greater desire channels more energy, and everybody wants energy. And so inspiration is my desire to expand my vessel as a result. This is what happens. We see movies, we get inspired. We listen to music, we get inspired. Right? Because all of this has the consciousness of expanding the vessel. And that's what it's about. The creator wants to give you endlessly. We're the ones limiting the light. Creator wants to give you more than you want to receive. We think it's the other way. The creator's withholding. Creator's withholding nothing. He's giving you everything. It's us that's saying no. It's us that's saying, no, we like the chaos. We like the darkness. We like being single. We like being poor. You know, people come to me to help grow their wealth. And I'm like, well, I talked to this one guy who has a $5 million business. I said, well, let's talk about how to get it to 100 million. He was visibly uncomfortable. Then he had belief systems. I don't deserve it. It's too much work. I have to hire too many employees. I'm not sure. All this nonsense came to his head. I said, who said any of that is true? I see this business is worth $100 million. Let's get there. But it brought up his garbage. He wanted to go from 5 to 6. I wanted him to go from 5 to 50 that first year. Right? That's what it's about. We have to help people realize their potential, their power, because on their own, you know, we just like to inch forward, if even that.
Yeah, this is so good. And something that comes out is, if you don't have the desire, maybe as other people do, but you have the desire to have the desire.
Beautiful.
That you can work with.
There, that you just said one of the most powerful Kabbalistic phrases. No one says that unless they read the Kabbalah books, and I know you did. If you don't have a desire, have a desire for a desire. And if you don't have that, have a desire for the desire for the desire.
Unbelievable.
There's no excuses, I guess, right?
100%. This was great. Can't wait to build the friendship. We'll land the plane with quick rapid fire, maybe 1 to 2 word answers. Have a little fun. You ready for me?
Sure. Go for it.
Favorite movie, David?
My favorite movie?
Hmm.
Gladiator.
Mine too.
There you go. Gladiator or Braveheart. It's often a tie.
Gladiator is a good one.
Yeah.
Your last meal on Earth would be?
Some kind of nostalgic Persian food. Probably some kind of stew with rice, white Persian rice.
You took that so seriously. That's awesome.
I don't think that's what your meal was though.
Mine would be a little
I
different.
matched on movies, but not on meals.
Okay, moving along here. Your favorite guilty pleasure?
Somebody asked me this last night. It's so guilty. I don't do it anymore because it would destroy my stomach. But I love a good Krispy Kreme donut.
Mm.
I'm telling you, if my body could handle it at this age, I would have 4, 5, 6 of those a day.
You're only 40. You're just getting warmed up.
Oh, I'm telling you, the way what happens to the blood sugar and the gluten and the dairy, it's disastrous. But sometimes I will take a bite, chew it, and then spit it out. That's the best I can do. That is my guilty pleasure.
This is awesome. All right, 3 more quick ones. Your favorite workout?
Like favorite workout to do in the gym?
Wherever.
Oh, I love to swim. I've been swimming my whole life. I was on the swim team. I did water polo, and swimming is just the water is so purifying, and water Kabbalistically does cleanse the body and soul. So the more time you spend in water, like the higher your consciousness can get. And I like to meditate while I swim. And the fact that it's low impact on the body, but great for the body is just one of my favorite workouts.
Favorite book?
I would say I'll give you 2. My favorite spiritual book is Power of Kabbalah. It's like I read it, changed my life. It's like the best intro book person can get. My favorite business book that it transformed my business in the early stages when we had like maybe 20 employees. Anybody who has at least 5 employees, I would read this book. It's called Traction.
Yeah.
You familiar with it?
Yeah.
It's the system of EOS, it's entrepreneurial operating system. It really helped us get organized and helped us scale like to the next level. It's a great book.
So utilize EOS.
Yeah. So I would read the book. If it inspires you, I would get an EOS coach to help implement it in your company.
Okay. Last one. Favorite musician? Very deep, I know.
Favorite musician? I like 80s music. I like 90s music. Was in love, Bryan Adams, Chicago. Those were right. Those were. I'll never. Nothing can really top that genre of music. Sorry, you can hear my kids in the background.
No, all good. It's authentic. That's a great generation, by the way.
Yeah.
Real quickly before we wrap up, you have so many things going on right now. You're blowing up, so much knowledge and wisdom. What are you most excited about right now, brother? And how can everybody support and get involved?
Well, thank you. I have 2 parts to my life. I have my business. I own a vitamin company. That's what I do, just kind of on the creative side. That's my monetary side. But I think the Kabbalah side is what I'm most passionate about now. If you go to my Instagram, like there's bite-sized pieces of content every day. I curate that every day to help inspire people on a daily basis. But what's changing people's lives? I have about 2,000 to 3,000 people a month who sign up for this. It's a masterclass that I filmed. It's called Kabbalah One. It's on Kabbalah1.com. 100% of it goes to charity. I actually made it donation based. You can pay whatever you want. You can even pay $1. I made it affordable for anyone around the world to take it. People, after the first 2 or 3 sessions, I mean, you took this live in New York, so this is like a more online masterclass on demand version. People tell me after the first 2 or 3 sessions, their life is never the same again. And so if you enjoyed kind of what you're hearing now, or you like my social media page, just go to Kabbalah1.com. And I promise you, you will not regret it. And send me a message. I read all my messages. I get about 100 to 200 messages on Instagram. I know I shouldn't be, but I love kind of building community. So right now I'm reading every message. If you write to me and let me know that you heard me on Craig's podcast, like I would love that. And if it helped change your life, I always love the feedback.
And we'll put all that in the show notes. And I love that you do that. There's a big difference in audience and a community. What you're doing is so special. This was
Thank you.
unbelievable. Did hang out for 1 second? I want to connect to you after. I want
Yeah.
you to know the definition of authenticity, wisdom, and connection. I could personally guarantee that your best is yet to come. Keep on spreading your wings and leaving your mark on this world. So much love and respect for you. Thank you so much for stopping by and dropping these priceless, juicy nuggets today.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you for having me.